Good morning, Deb and Dora. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Um, hope you're having a good week so far. We're only just at the beginning. I was trying to figure out earlier what I need to get done today, and um, it's hard, right? Because everything is always changing. Even when there's not a lot going on, there seems to be from one week to the next so much. Um, Everything's kind of up in the air with a lot of things. So uh, even though my weeks are kind of the same, what I'm doing is very different on one day to the other. Um, so that's, I mean, I guess it's good, right? It keeps it interesting. It keeps me jumping around trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing, which may or may not be good. Um, but it is what it is, right? So we're well into October now, beginning of the month still, but I don't know if you guys have noticed the moon the past couple of nights. So I guess it was a full moon recently. Um, it's been crazy, crazy bright right where we are. I don't know if it's just been very clear so we can see it. Um, but it's kind of amazing. And the other night I woke up right out of sound sleep, 2 o'clock in the morning, um, to an owl that was right outside my window, which was very interesting. I heard it. I have heard an owl in our yard before. I think it was a slightly different uh, sound, like a different call, so maybe a different type of owl. But I'm always interested in that because you don't you don't see that many owls, or I don't here anyway. We used to have owls in the yard when I was where I grew up. There always seemed to be you'd hear some owls at night. Um, I'm not sure I knew what they were for a while, but eventually came to find out that they were owls. And I've always been fond of owls, so I'm always it's always a cheerful sign to me. I don't know what owls mean. Maybe they mean something. I hope they don't mean something bad, but I always look forward to seeing them or hearing them. I think one of the things I really like about them is that they are nocturnal, so you don't see them very much. They're it's kind of a treat when you do. Um, they're not kind of this just random bird. Although I will tell you, we have a lot of birds around here, and we put out feeders and things, and a lot of times we have them nesting. If I hang up hanging plants and things on the porch, there's chances are there's going to be a bird that's going to build a nest in one of them, and it's going to end up dying, right? Because I'm not going to want to water where the eggs are. So um, there always are a lot of birds around here. And so at one point, my husband found me an app that that'll identify the bird based on the sound of the bird song, um, which is very cool. Except I didn't realize, like I guess just in my belief was that there were a lot of different kinds of birds, but I'm finding there's just a lot of the same kind of bird. And also, I'm finding that I'm really bad at getting the app started before the bird just stops singing. So I feel like in order to make it effective, you really have to let it run all the time and then try to clip the parts, that where you thought you heard a bird. I don't know. But We have a lot of Carolina wrens. That's what the big um, the highest percentage, I would say, are Carolina wrens, which I guess maybe are what they call house wrens, right? So they try to hang around your house a bit, um, which makes sense. So today, um, let's just talk briefly here about. We talked about letting go last week, so let's talk about love this week. Um, Big L, love, right? Not loser, but love. Um, so small L, love, right? We all get that. We know what that's about. But the big love is the same thing, except on kind of a larger scale, right? Um, Love is that concern, that feeling of concern for someone else's well-being, for the well-being of something greater than yourself. And that really, I mean, if you boil right down to it, that's really what love is. It's being as concerned or more concerned, maybe, about the welfare of someone else, something else, than your own welfare, right? Something that overtakes your own selfish self-interest, right? And I don't mean that in a negative way, right? Self-interest is that's how we stay alive, right? Our care for ourselves, making sure that we have what we need to survive. It makes sense, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but there has to be something greater for us than that, right? That isn't the sum total of our life. Is not trying to find things to keep yourself alive and then maybe stockpiling those things, right? And I think that's what happens when people don't have that sense of love and big love in their life. um, they turn to this very healthy um, self-interest, where we are trying to care for ourselves and support ourselves, becomes kind of uh, misdirected, right? Then it becomes um, a form of hoarding, right? So then we start working on amassing and hiding and storing so much more than we actually need. Um, you'll see people who that becomes the focus of their life, is accumulating wealth and possessions. Um, People who have that sense of big love in their life, um, that sense of connectedness and concern for others, usually don't really do that. Um, you know, if they do it, if they have great wealth and possessions, these are people who understand the need to share that, to give back. Um, they understand sort of their place in the world and how everyone else is located in the world, right? That we have this responsibility to one another, this love that connects us all. So, being aware of this, um, it's really nothing but a positive thing, right? Um, it makes us stronger. It makes us more complete and whole to know that we are connected to other people as well. This is a hard time for a lot of people because there hasn't been much in the way of physical connection, right? We can't really see the people that we care for very often. Um, Maybe we talk on the phone, or we have a Zoom call or something like that. Um, but there's not a lot of hugging going on, not a lot of physical contact. Um, and it may be like that for a bit yet. So, what we need to work on is how do we um, get beyond that need, right? That doesn't mean that you won't still have that need, right? But there has to be other ways that we can um, feel connected without having to be physically connected, right? And that's where this idea of big love comes in, right? So you can love someone thousands of miles away. You can send your good wishes and your love and your concern um, and your affection to them, to people you don't even know. Right now, there are thousands of people around the world praying for your well being, for the well being of everyone. That's what they do. They do it in shifts all day long, 24 hours a day, 365 days a week or a year. That's what they do. That's their job, right? They have taken that job on themselves as their love, right? That's their way of giving love. Um, that may not be what you want to do, right? That takes a very special kind of devotion to give up your life to that. And I'm not saying you have to do that by any stretch of the imagination, but know that there are people out there doing that for you. Um, there are lots of ways that we can put out that love to others. Um, and again, right? I think, in many ways, we are drawn to the physical. We are drawn to seeing people, um, hugging them, having this physical connection, because again, we're looking for that um, reciprocal type of thing, right? And we think of love, right, as reciprocal, right? Oh, I love you, but they don't love me, so oh well, now I don't love them. Well, I mean, that's not how it works in big love, right? In big love, it doesn't matter if they love you. They don't even have to like you. They don't even have to know you. Um, you still love them. You love them because they are here, because they are a part of the consciousness and our self. Um, that's all. That's all it takes, right? And in some ways, isn't that an amazing thing, right? That all it takes is to be here. You are valuable and you are loved just because you're here. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to have any great accomplishments. Um, there's no judgment. There's no bar that you have to surpass. You just have to be here. And maybe the hardest part, is accepting that that's true for everyone else as well. For people you love, small l love, for people you think you hate, for people you dislike, for people you think are crazy, right? And there's probably a lot of people right about now that you think are pretty nutty. Um, they're still part of everything. They're part of our consciousness. They're part of our self. Um, they may be the part we hate to think about. They may be the part that makes us sort of terrified to be a human being, but they're all part of us. So we love them, right? And sometimes that's the hardest thing you'll ever do, is to be able to give love to somebody you disagree with wholeheartedly, um, knowing that it isn't your job to correct them. It isn't your job to change them or fix them. That's their job. And they may not get to that job this life. I don't know. Some people just, I don't hold out a lot of hope for them. But again, that's their issue. My issue is loving them, is loving them as part of us, right? We are all in this together, um, whether we like it or not. So that's your mission, to love. It doesn't mean to um, agree with. It doesn't mean to give people a free pass, right? If someone's treating you badly, it doesn't mean you have to hang out with them. You don't have to be their friend and do things with them and give them more opportunities to be unkind to you. But we need to recognize their humanity, to have compassion for them. Maybe the most compassion of all are for these people that we really see going down the wrong path. Um, we love them because we could be them. We're just a few steps away from that, all of us. Um, we've had a little more luck in our life than they have, right? Maybe someone held their hand out to us when we needed it and never did for them. Maybe we got some information that they never got. Um, there's no way of knowing how someone gets to where they are. And it doesn't really matter, right? They are where they are where you are. But you can love them. You can wish them well. You can hope for their well being. You can pray for them. You can pray for everybody. Um, it will do nothing but improve your life, right? That's the thing about love, right? Big love and small love too, right? It is um, unimaginably huge. You don't diminish it. You have so much. They talk about kids being afraid when new children are born. Well, mom, how can you love? How can you love more kids? Well, you just do. Your love is um, expandable, and if you can expand it to all of your kids, you can expand it to the whole world. And it does not do anything more than get big. It just gets bigger and bigger. Um, it is to your benefit. You will feel better. You will. There will be a lightness in your life instead of the heaviness. Right? When we hold negative thoughts, negative feelings about other people and about things, it does damage to us. Right? So here's another quote that I'm going to ruin, right? But it's something along the lines of um, revenge or resentment. I guess resentment maybe is the poison that you drink yourself, right? So you think by holding these thoughts that you're making this person feel bad, or you're really showing them, right? I'm going to be mad at them and really like hold this grudge. Well, chances are that person doesn't care at all. Right? I mean, maybe they're a terrible person. Maybe they really don't have any concern for other people. So why should they care? But you are putting so much energy, so much effort into being angry and being resentful and holding this grudge when you could just let it go and set it out of your mind, right? Um, and when you think of that person, maybe you just think of them with some compassion. It's too bad. This is a too bad. It's too bad that they're this way. It's too bad that it turned out this way. But I wish them well. I love them. I wish they could change, right? I wish they could be different. Um, and I'm going to send those loving thoughts their way. Maybe it will help. Who knows? But it certainly won't hurt you, which is the main thing, right? Again, with everything in yoga, we are concerned with ourselves, how we interact in the world, how we treat other people, and how we are allowing other people to treat us, right? So um, when we talk about um, accepting and loving, it does not mean that you turn yourself into a doormat, right? You accept the reality of what's going on, but you don't have to accept poor treatment. If you are treated poorly by someone, you need to get away from that person. You need to do whatever you need to do to have that stop happening. Um, and when it's done and you're away, that's it, right? You might be, hey, hope you get better. You really have a problem. But it doesn't have to be a source of resentment and anger and upset for you. Again, they have their problems. We have our problems. Um, we focus on our problems. We focus on our things we need to change about ourselves, things that we want to improve. Um, and if we do that, we are always going to be working within our range of control. Right? And this is a really important part of love and being a happy person is knowing what's within your control and what is not. Um, our behavior, our outlook, our attitude, how we feel, all of these things are completely within our control. Um, we can't we can't affect maybe a lot of times the things around us, right? But we can choose who is around us, where we're going, what we're doing. Um, these are all right possibilities. So having compassion and love for someone doesn't mean you want to spend a lot of time with them. Maybe they are very difficult. Maybe the best love you can give them is from a distance. Um, that's okay too, right? Love and compassion doesn't mean being a martyr. It doesn't mean giving up your life for someone else. But it means recognizing that they are valuable too. Right? Um, they are just us, maybe turned inside out or upside down, or and that's the key, right? The key thing to love is knowing that we're all the same, right? It would be nice to think that we weren't, to think that some people were somehow subhuman or unworthy or not even the same as we are, right? Because that would be easy. It would be easy to think of some people as better than other people. Um, that would explain everything, right? Oh, this person is really terrible, done terrible things. They must be not even the same type of human being as me. Well, sadly, they are indeed the same type of human being as you are. They have just gone down a very bad road. Um, and the sad thing is we could go down that road too, right? If we chose to, if we allow that to happen. So, knowing that, we need to have compassion because it could be us. Um, my mom always said, there before the grace of God go I. And it's the truth. It's the truth for everything. Um, but it's a hard truth. And it's something that we may not like. We may not like to think about. Um, but keep it in mind. Um, it when you have that feeling inside, it's easy to feel compassion, right? You can never hold yourself over someone else when you know that, because we're all the same. Right? We've just had, if we've had a good life, it may be a lot of our good hard work and effort, but it's also a lot of luck, and it's a lot of just God's grace that we are where we are now instead of some other place. So today, think about how you could extend that. Where could you be a little more loving? Big L, loving. Um, there are people, again, praying for your well being. Who could you send that kindness out to? Um, who were you complaining about yesterday? Because I know you were. I know I was too. Who were you complaining about yesterday that you could instead send some love to? I don't know. Think about it. All right. So yoga, asana now. This has been a hard month for me. Everything is very achy, and I'm not sure why. I think it's the change of weather or something. But I feel kind of, tight. I think. Do you think I'm getting old? I feel like I might be getting old a little bit. I guess that's what happens, right? The years go by. Deep breath in and out. And then chin down toward the chest. Just let your head hang down. Bring it back up and lift the chin. Back to center. Take a breath in and then move the head over to the right. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. Back up and move to the left. Back to center. Lean forward. And then moving around. Going one way and then the other. Back up to your seat. Bring the arms wide. Take a deep breath in and then exhale, hands together. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers, lift the hands. We're gazing up. And then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up. And then let's bring the right arm down. Reach across. And switch. Back up. Let's lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Right hand on left knee. Left arm behind, sit up tall. Deep breath in and twist. Back to center and switch. Sit up tall, take a twist. And back to center. Both legs out in front. And let's flex and point. And then moving the feet around. And back the other way. Bend both knees. We're going to bring soles of the feet together. Sit up tall and fold forward. So as we're holding this, you may find that you can come down a little more. Right, as we kind of ease into it. Back up. Let's bring the legs wide. Sitting up tall, you can fold forward. Maybe hands come out to the side, or you could walk them out. And again, you may be able to move a little more as we hold this, but maybe not. So don't don't try too hard with this. And then moving back up. Let's bend the knees again. Soles of the feet together. Fold forward. Moving back up, we're going to bring the left leg is under, right leg on top. One hand on either foot. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. Coming back up. Switch your legs. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. And back up. Both legs out in front. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. Moving back up. Let's come into tabletop. Sitting back on the heels. Child's pose. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Breathe here. Forward to high plank. Let's hold here. And then lower down. Head turns right. Arms by your side. Bring your head back to center. Heading up for cobra. You've got hands about chest height. Elbows close by the body. Squeeze the shoulders back. Tops of the feet rest on the mat. Lifting up head and chest. Hovering the hands. Lower down, head turns to the left. Head back to center. Let's bring the arms out in front, resting on the elbows, resting the hands on the mat. We're pressing down with the palms of forearms, squeezing back the shoulders, steady gaze. And lowering down, then just rest the head on the hands or the forearms, toes in, heels out. I'm going to extend both arms, rolling onto the side, whichever side you want. We're bending the top knee and then extending. So you could just hold on to the leg wherever you want. You can grab a hold of the toe. You can maybe get a little more extension. Again, we're trying to balance here. If you need to bend that bottom knee to give yourself a little more support, that's fine. And then just release it. We're going to roll back and onto the other side. Same thing. Working on, whatever we did on the other side, we'll do on this side. And then just release it down. I'm going to scoot back over onto the mat. Maybe you're still on the mat. I was pretty much off the mat at that point. I'm just getting comfortable here. Take a few breaths. Hug the right knee into the chest. Left leg is long. Opening up to the side a little. Lower the knee to the right. Coming back to center. We're going to draw it across the body. So we're rolling up on that left hip. And then back. Switch legs. Lowering. And then back to center, across the body, pulling up on the right hip. Back to center, extend both legs, and take a couple of breaths. Maybe bring the arms up over your head. You could grab opposite elbows or forearms. Just kind of opening up the shoulders. And then we're going to set up for bridge, maybe supported bridge if you've got a block. I have my blocked with me, so hopefully you do as well. Otherwise, just do regular bridge. Probably don't want to stay up as long as we will be, but that's okay. Getting your feet and your arms in position. Lift up the hips. Set that block under. And find a comfortable place to be here. You can do whatever you want. You could draw the knees in and extend the legs. You balance on the block. You can always do this legs up the wall too, if that's something you like, and if you have some wall space. It's very relaxing. And then we're lifting up, move the block, set it back down. Maybe bring the feet together, find a comfortable place to relax. And then we're going to move into Shavasana. So you can extend the legs here or do whatever you want to get yourself comfortable on the mat. And keep breathing. So feel the body sort of sinking down, resting, relaxing on the mat. So this idea of love in the large scale, we don't want to confuse that with different kind of loves that we might have, right? I mean, um, they're similar, but they're not the same, right? Um, love in the big form isn't transactional, right? You don't love someone because they love you. You don't love someone because you think you might get something from them. You love them just because they exist and because you exist, because you are all one. Um, when you know this and when you feel this, it's almost impossible to hurt other people, to be cruel or unkind, um, because we are all one. To be cruel to one is to be cruel to all. To take someone from someone or take something from someone is really to steal from yourself. You're hurting yourself. So you can see where cultivating this sense of love in the big sense can really help you. It can really improve your understanding of this larger self. Um, so it's something to think about. It's something to consider. So I like that line in the Beatles song, "Love is all you need," right? So I think a lot of people took that, interpreted that to mean, some crazy hippies saying all you need is love. Just hang out and just be in love, you'll be fine. But it's not that at all, right? The idea is, I mean, clearly you need other things to survive, but if it starts with love, if we all have that sense of big L love for one another, it is all we need. Because how could we make rules and operate our society in a way that hurts other people if we all had love? Everyone would be at peace. Everyone would make sure that their neighbor had enough to eat, had health care, had meaningful work at a reasonable living wage. All of these things that we seem to think only belong to certain types of people. Everyone would be available, would have those things available to them if that's what we did, if that's how we lived our life, each and every one of us. So, it may be a dream. Maybe it's not something that's going to happen right today, but it's um, it's the end, right? That's the goal. If we could all treat ourselves that way and each other and everyone, our world would be perfect, right? It would be a paradise for everyone. Um, and that's a goal worth working towards. Moving a little bit now, fingers and toes, hands and feet. And then when you're ready, making your way up to a seat, we'll bring hands together. Deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time today for yoga, for sharing with me and everyone else here. I hope that you have a very good Tuesday. Namaste. Thank you. Um, oh, hi, Barbara. I saw you come in, but I didn't say hi until the end. um, okay, so let's do a little meditation. I'd like to do something a little different today. It's still going to only be 5 minutes, so it's not going to be long. But we're going to do something called metta meditation or loving kindness meditation. So it's just more of a little guided meditation. So we'll see how that goes. But I am going to set a timer so we don't go over, because I know you guys would just be lost in meditation all day if you could be, right? I know you would. All right. So sitting comfortably, however you want that to be. Same thing, right? We're just going to have our eyes closed, shoulders relaxed, sitting comfortably. So as you're relaxing and breathing, just focus on that space. So now I want you to focus on sending that love and kindness, um, loving thoughts, prayers, wishes towards someone you feel very close to. You might visualize their face, but don't get, too hung up on that. Just focus on the feeling of love and kindness to this person that is close to you. And if it helps, you can think of, maybe a visual for the love. It could be like a light, maybe a golden light, or something beautiful like flowers, or um, something else that makes you feel peaceful and loving and calm. And now I want you to move on to someone that you know, but maybe you aren't very close to, maybe just an acquaintance. Sending that loving kindness their way, wishing them peace and happiness. And then moving on to maybe a stranger, someone that you've seen maybe on TV or online, but you don't know them, but you just know who they are. And then we're going to move on to someone that you have difficulties with, someone maybe you dislike or disagree with, sending them loving kindness. So then coming back to regular, everyday things, awareness. So, how did that feel? Um, so we start, with the person, someone that we feel very close to. So we get that feeling going, right? And once we have that feeling going, it's easier to move that outward to people we don't know so well, to people maybe we do know pretty well, but we have a problem with, or, maybe people we don't know well, but we just dislike or don't, don't have a problem with for some reason. Um, it's a good practice. It's a nice thing to do if you're having difficulties with someone, if you're having an argument or a disagreement. Um, this is a great way to kind of work through that at the end of the day, or when you've finished whatever's going on with that, to kind of get your head back in the game. And I've found that when I'm in a disagreement with someone, or I'm having some kind of a conflict, that bringing this practice into my day not only makes me feel better, but I swear it works to some degree. That when I've had issues, I really feel like this practice helps me move through them, and it helps the other person as well. Maybe, and I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Do they sense that loving kindness from me, or am I less entrenched in that conflict because I don't care about it as much anymore? I don't know. Either way, it helps to move through the conflict and on. Um, I have found it to be helpful. So hopefully it will be as well for you. Okay, that's Tuesday. Have a good rest of the day, and I'll be back for Wednesday. Um, enjoy. Should be nice today. Nice, fairly warm weather. We were supposed to get gutters put on, but I don't see anyone outside, so I bet that's not going to happen today. Who knows? All right. See you tomorrow.